Hey guys, this is Captain Phoenix back in the action, and as you can see, we are on the final green deck profile so far with the suspension deck. Now, as it'll say in the description, this is a budget deck for helping practice, and it was made with the Digiburst deck. I do have some cards still saved up, and I'm already looking at going to upgrade this deck when I get the chance, because I already know there's room to improve on it. But this would make a good starter deck to learn suspension a little easier, and the game overall if you're going to use green decks. So as usual, we'll start with the Digi Eggs, then we'll go through Digimon's levels 3 to 6, then the options, and then lastly the tamers, and I usually give my final thoughts on the videos. So to start with, we have 2 copies of Frymon. Now, for those who are wondering, Frymon's inheritance effect is your turn while your opponent has 2 or more suspended Digimon in play. This Digimon gets 2000 plus TP. So if you manage to summon a high-powered Digimon, it immediately, and they have your opponent has 2 suspended Digimon, aka on the side, then your Digimon will get 2000 plus TP during your turn. Next, we have 2 copies of Yokomon. Definitely recommend not using these for this deck, but these are only for spurs to help Digiburst, so it will cost less points to summon them. That is mainly the reason these are here. But because this is a Digiburst kit, this is a Digiburst builder Digi-Egg, but you can still use it, so I'm not going to bother with its effect, mention its effect. It's only a spur. If you would like to see this card, however, you can look at the previous video I've sent on my green Digiburst deck. Now lastly, we have 1 copy of Pinamon. Now Pinamon's effect is, when attacking once per turn, if you attack an opponent's Digimon, trigger 1, draw 1 card from your deck. Not super effective, but it's a decent starter Digi-Egg. I actually like this design because it actually kind of reminds me of a little Red Robin teddy I used to have as a kid. And now we're up to our Digimon. Now, majority of the beginner ones of the early levels are normal, so they have no effects or inheritance effects. So to start off with, we've got 4 copies of Leomon, which has 5000 plus DP for a level 3, which, by the way, is actually really effective. Next, we've got the final level 3s, 2 copies of Pomamon, which again 5000 plus TP. You could add more of these if you wanted, but I only had these available. Now this one I wouldn't really recommend, but I have it because I needed additional cards. 4 copies of Roachmon, but it only costs 1 inheritance, so this could just help be a builder up for Digivolution. And this only has 3000 plus DP, so you wouldn't rely on this properly for attack. You just want to summon it out just so you could with Digivolution. And next we've got 4 copies of Morris Shellmon. Now Morris Shellmon is a 7000 deep attack Digimon, which is not bad for a level 4, because usually the level 4s I've seen are 5000, 6000 normally. They're not like for your average ones, even when they have effects. And then for last level 4, some of our, and this is an effect one finally, people are going to say about time, we have a Petal Dramon. Now, we have 3 copies however, so I'll explain its effect. You may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your green Digimon tamers, as if the tamer is a level 3 Digimon. We don't have any green tamers, unfortunately. However, it has a piercing effect. When this Digimon attacks and deletes an opponent's Digimon and survives the battle, it performs any security checks it normally would. So you basically get to attack the security once, which is very effective. Then we've got 3 copies of Parasaurmon, which is like it's basically a dinosaur, a green dinosaur, which is, I do like the design of it, I'm going to lie. Then for our last level Then next we've got Skull Scorpionmon. Again, this is mainly for build-ups for your effects. Then we have Deramon. I have 4 copies of this, so your turn. For each other suspended Digimon you have in play, this Digimon gets 2000 plus DP. Which, not super effective, but if you had this summoned out and you had, let's say, some of the lower ones already out, you never know if this could be really handy. Because next we've got 2 copies of Taro Paimon. Its inheritance effect is, its inheritance effect, however, is when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 or less TP. Which, again, it's not that bad. But again, this is a starter deck, so it's not meant to be like OP. And then we have a blocker, which is Cherrymon. So basically, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Digimon to force the opponent to attack it instead. In a way, it just helps it. And it has 7000 plus TP, which isn't super effective, but it's not meant to be over effective. But if you can attack with this, you won't lose any memory. Most blockers, they make you lose 2 memory, but with this one, you don't lose any. And then for the finale, we're starting with a level 6. The first one being the signature one, Bancho Lilymon. So on deletion, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the owner's deck. Trash all of the Digievolution cards of that Digimon. So this is literally, again, it's a starter one. And then we've got our last Digimons here. So first we'll start off with the second to last, Ancient Troymon. So opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, suspend up to two of the Digimon without blocker, and on deletion, you may play a 1 green level 4 or lower Digimon card with hybrid in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. I'm mostly looking to use it for the suspension effect. However, again, this deck can be modified anywhere, so I do recommend doing that. Trying to modify it anywhere you can. And the last Digimon is Hercules Kabuterimon. Now, it has a piercing effect, an end of attack, and then twice per turn. So let me explain. So piercing, when this Digimon attacks and declares it and deletes an opponent's Digimon and survives the battle, it performs any security checks, and it normally would. End of attack, twice per turn. You can suspend this Digimon by decreasing your memory by 3. Now, I would recommend doing this if you have, let's say, 1, 2, and you literally just wanted to get rid of you wanted to force your opponent to have lower memory if they have no way of increasing the memory. Because next we've got the effects, and the first option is Blast Disaster. Its main effect: suspend all of your opponent's Digimon, then gain 1 memory for each one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. It does cost 6, but you could use this effectively again to lower your opponent's memory or to gain more memory if you've got a high enough level. And then lastly, for our last option, we've got Cyclone Kick, which costs 4. Oh wait, I forgot to mention the inheritance. The inheritance of the security effect is suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. My apologies for that. Now we're on Cyclonic Kick. Its main effect is unsuspend one of your Digimon and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. It costs 4, and its security effect is activate the card's main effect, which is that unsuspend one of your Digimon and then suspend an opponent's. Then lastly, we've got our tamers. 2 copies of Mano Bellosi. Now you could use this mainly for the memory effect because the rest of it doesn't really matter. But again, this deck will be updated and changed rapidly. So at the start of your turn, if you have two memory or less, set your memory to 3. Your turn, when you play an Eosmon, you may suspend this tamer to reveal the top 3 cards in your deck. Add 1 tamer card or 1 Digimon card with Eosmon in its name among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, your opponent's turn, while you have an Eosmon in play, your opponent's tamers don't unsuspend during the unsuspend phase. But again, if you want to build a white Eosmon deck, I would recommend it. Because I have heard some pros and cons about it. They have stated, overall, this isn't meant to be an overpowered deck. It's not this is literally a good starter deck, I'd say. So just get the gist of the game and just learn how to use suspension a little better. But again, this isn't like an OP deck, which, again, I'm already looking at modifying this deck rapidly, along with the Digiburst deck that I've got. It's already got some good Digimon, but this is probably the one I'd least use, since it's not going to really suit the strategy style that I'm used to. So I would say, if you want to leave your comments down and recommend certain Digimon cards, I would say please do, because you could also help other players who are looking at building a suspension deck. And until then, this is Captain Phoenix, over and out.